What's up guys, it's Drac, and they did it again. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You ready? I was too excited. I peeked in the package. Which means that I can tell you that the contents of this are theoretically game-changing for the sidearm category of foam blasters. The Mark I was a big deal. It was my honor, my privilege to get serial number 1, to get to tell you guys about it early. I got to launch it on my Twitch. I guess that must have gone pretty well for them because they're letting me, and by extension my audience, which is you guys, the finest foam flinging community in the world, take an early look at the Mark II. Now, there was the Mark 1.1, which was essentially just a rehashing for Target, and then we had the Nexus, and then we had the Aeon, which was a mini Nexus. They're all pretty similar. They're all pump action springers, with the exception of the Aeon, which is a really cool pistol category. This is a game-changing pistol category because this, like, actually is the first blaster that's like super compact. Not a mini blaster, not an electronic mini wheel compromise induced platform, but like this one is pretty seriously cool. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Let's take it out of the package. So it looks like it's going to ship in this box. The box has some relevant information on it. It's got all of the usual warning labels, and then it has ages 14 and up, which is really important. Then it says Dart Zone Pro and Mark II. I'm not going to jump cut because this is the first look at the packaging for the blaster, and I want you guys to know exactly what you get and how it comes out. You get the pistol itself, which is so slick. At first glance, these look like magazines, but they're not. These aren't magazines, these are speed loaders, spring-assisted speed loaders for the Mark II. And then you get a bunch of Pro Darts in half-length. This is a half-length exclusive blaster, again, fitting that whole, like, no compromises. This isn't full and half-length. This is kind of their natural evolution, and we sort of got a hint of this in our interview series with Walmart when they said that they were working on something half-length dedicated. That was this. This is enough darts to load the blaster completely 3 times, I believe, which is what it comes with. And then underneath that tray, we have this. So in the bottom tray here, and I'm going to pull these out for you in a moment, you have an OWB injection molded holster. Then you have a similar OWB magazine holster for both of those sort of speed loader-esque things. And this appears to be some sort of like barrel extension that also has a belt clip on it. So let's go ahead and bust those out of the package and see what we're working with in that regard. Behind that, there's nothing. Alright guys, so here is the Mark II, which I assume is a 6-round pistol because these speed loaders say 6-pack on them, but the Mark II is a super compact Springer pistol. It's got an integrated magazine into the grip, which is why the speed loaders are, I assume, very important. It's got a pretty comfortable pull there. The grip is not bad. It's got an ultra narrow profile. It's got dual feed lips inside here to ensure that the fit of these darts is very comfortable, and they're not going to like fall out while you're priming or what have you. And it's pretty snappy. It's pretty snappy. It's certainly not a full class 200 FPS primary, but I'm really excited to put it over the chronograph and tell you guys what numbers it actually gets. I can tell you confidently, while I was shooting it out the window, it was getting 100 feet ranges. Now we've got a fire on this side and a safety on this side. Given that most of the population is right-handed, it's nice that this fits that so that with your trigger finger you can very gently press that and go from safe to full. It's also a pretty good safety and allows you to do all sorts of gunslinger tricks. I think that it's slick. Now, speaking of the construction of it, I mean, they couldn't have picked better colors for this blaster. It's red and then a dark gray and black trim. Like, it's really nice. It definitely fits my aesthetic. I really like red and black blasters, so this is pretty slick. It's also got a nice little pop of orange, both for the functional bits and for the muzzle. However, I do want to mention that I think that this silhouette is a little bit dangerous. There's no denying that this looks like a compact handgun, and it's coming out of a holster that looks like an OWB. Like, even with an orange tip, this is like scenario field safe. Like, this is what you take to a paintball field or an airsoft arena or a laser tag arena. Like, if you're playing on private property, I think that there's nothing at all wrong with this. If you're playing in a public park, as many of us, including the Southeast Nerf Clubber, want to do, I think that it's really nice that it comes with this almost like Silencer Co-esque kind of integrated suppressor looking thing, which gives you a ton of extra orange. This guy also fits on your belt if you want. You can snap it on and pull it off as you want, but it slides onto this bottom rail. The bottom rail does appear to be Picatinny. Not a lot of Picatinny, but enough that you can put a laser or a light down there if you want to do some real scenario play. And then of course this barrel is non-functional. It's just a completely loose, almost worker style-esque outer barrel. The pistol itself has a metal barrel. Interestingly enough, the metal doesn't stop there. These appear to be die-cast plates. I'm not sure if they did this to add weight to the grip. If they did, it feels very nice, or if it was just an aesthetic thing. But it feels good. It's nice that it's kind of cool to the touch. Definitely a cool like element for those of you that also do some scenario play. I mean, I really like that. I haven't tested the speed loaders yet, so I'm going to go ahead and load one of those up right now, but it'll take 6 of the bamboo half lengths, and that's a full volley of that. We're going to prime it back like this, load it in like this, and I do want to point out this mates very nicely. It's got like these little clips here that friction fit in so that there can be no mistakes. That even, I mean, like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that is a solid fit. You know that that's how it goes. It goes one direction. Then I assume all we do is, well, that was easy. Push that down, pull it off. The follower is exposed. We have a fully loaded magazine now. It does only hold 6 internally. And then prime. Guys, the compact nature, I mean, let's just be clear here. This is one of the most popular Nerf pistol bases. You've got the Falcon Fire. This thing makes the Falcon Fire look huge. It comes back a little bit further to give it more plunger volume. And speaking of the plunger is an oval, not a circle. How funky is that? I guess that was to get this as compact as it possibly could be, but I really like that you have that thin profile as a result. And then as long as we're talking about the guts, I just want to point out that while the feed lips are no new idea, the double feed lips make for a very consistent and comfortable chambering, and they're being half length significantly nicer, significantly more adaptable with their double portion springs than say the Hasbro equivalent. I've no doubt that this is partially where this idea stemmed from, but whereas this is a very, very cheap toy grade integrated magazine, this feels like sporting equipment. If that noise triggered you guys as well, don't worry about it. There is no AR in this blaster, which means that you're going to want to put your thumb over it anytime you dry fire it. It is a sealed breech system with a metal barrel, so that should be relatively safe. You'll get some dampening in that sense. I really just wanted to show you guys next to the Falcon Fire how much more compact this blaster is, how much more pistol feel this is going to give you. Then we've got the accessories. Let's talk about those a little. So we've already talked about this muzzle. I think that this is great for like everything from if you want that silenced kind of look, if you really want the secret agent sort of feel to it. I think that that's crazy slick. I think you have to choose between, yeah, you're gonna have to choose between this or this, which is why it has a belt clip so that you can load it all up on one. But the holster isn't bad. It's also got adjustable screws on the back here so that you could set it at any angle if you happen to have 3-gun muscle memory, I suppose. But straight up isn't that bad. And then the friction fit isn't the world's greatest, but it's not falling out. I don't know why I said it wasn't the world's greatest. I have to recalibrate my brain for toys, which is difficult with a blaster that feels this good. I obviously do other sporting events where I'm using a very nice Kydex holster, and this feels cheap compared to that, but compared to any toy holster I've ever had, like, it's sharing a lot of the Kydex sort of hallmarks, even though it's injection molded plastic. And I mean, it's quite nice. Again, it doesn't fall out. Yeah, 0 complaints. I'm sorry, Dart Zone. So with that said, hopefully these are just as nice. They're definitely designed to go in while the magazine is full, since the follower here is going to get pushed up. Or not. It should be pushed up. There you are. So those go in like that. When they're full, you pull them out, you push them in, you slide them down, then you can put the empties in either forward or back. I think you should be putting them in correctly each time because they definitely fit much nicer that way. And I mean, this is clearly designed for a belt, not for like Molly or what have you. So I think that they're sort of locked into a belt. I'm sure people will come up with some sort of adapter strap so that you could throw them on a chest rig or something. A micro rig with these on them actually would be pretty cool, I think. The whole system here is pretty cool. So let's fire a couple of darts through the suppressor, and then obviously we need to do two things. We need to throw all of these accessories on a belt to get an even better feel for them, and we need to put this whole thing over a chronograph, get you guys some downrange action shots, and see what sort of performance we'd be looking at. Suppressor doesn't seem to affect firing at all, and it makes spinning that much more dramatic, and it doesn't fly off while you're spinning. This is ah! All right, guys, so I want to explain the rig first because it's pretty tight, actually. I'm feeling it now that I've got it on. These accessories are pretty slick to the degree that I still want to tweak a couple of them, but the ones that it comes with are hot, and they're doing exactly what they need to. So before we go any further, because I know a couple of you armchair operators are going to ask, this is about the finest combination of shorts and belts that you could choose for this specific setup, or really any setup. These are Katanica shorts. They're my absolute favorite. This is an SOE belt. It's not the Velcro back belt. It's just a regular SOE belt. It's phenomenal. It's got the Cobra buckle. It's really sturdy. I wear both of those things literally almost every day. I have zero complaints about them, and I'm shouting them out despite the fact that I don't get paid anything to say that. I just think they're both exceptional products kind of in this category. And well, it's super duper overkill for a toy rigger belt. Like, it's pretty awesome. This holster, pretty sweet, easy to come out, easy to hit the safety. You can have it either configuration in there, out and fire, and then back. A little janky going in, but coming out very comfortable each time. Then this is just a convenient belt loop way to hold this, pulling that off like that, pretty simple. And then you're ready to go. Over here, you've got your speed loaders. They're a little hard to get in, especially once it's kind of warped to your body, but getting them out, no problem at all. We'll get to that in just a second. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave the suppressor off for right now. We're gonna prime. Right now we're loaded with DZP darts, the DZP half lengths. We've also brought out some Adventure Force Pro darts, which are just being called Pro darts. We usually refer to the half lengths as bamboos. I also, for the sake of argument, brought out some Worker Gen 3s because I know that a lot of my friends across the pond and over on the sunny island still use those. So we've got our chronograph out here. Let's just get some numbers. I'm really hoping for triple digits. Let's see. 122. 117. That's a good number. 121. 135. 118. I'm almost upset by that 135 because it means that this would have a difficult time passing an End War Crony, and that stinks because I think that it is the ultimate HVZ loadout. This I could run for, like, gosh, Golden Age HVZ me would kill to have an entire loadout this potent on their belt ready to go. So let's go ahead and pull this out, show you guys that it's just that simple to grab this, push those in. We did lose one at the top there because we're going kind of fast for the video's sake. We'll get a couple more data points. 121, and it looks like 120 to 130 is about where you're gonna be. So there's 3 more shots inside. Let's go ahead and put a few down range, just see kind of what our expectations are there. The tree, again, the tree is about 85, 90 feet away from where we're standing, depending upon literally where we're standing. That was close to the tree, but certainly broke. We're peeling left. Okay, so we're getting ranges of about 80, 90 feet flat. Let's go ahead, take our other speed loader off of our belt. This time we're gonna be a little more careful as we, here, this is the best way to show you guys, as we push this down and in, go all the way, pull it off. We are loaded in there now. Maybe just a little brief check to make sure that we're seated the way we wanna be. And then again, once you've got these gone, because of how the body kind of warps this thing, it's easier if you use both hands. Pull that out a little and reseat it in like that. You can store them. It's a little bit awkward in some ways, but it's not that bad. So let's see if we can't get a 100-foot shot angled. That's 0 questions, 120, 130 foot shot with a large angle. We don't want to be lobbing them at our opponents that way. I'm really trying to see if I can dial in on my tree here. Hey, there we go. All right, so it's taking me a minute to get used to it, but that's 1 and 2. Not bad at all. So the weighted handle actually is very comfortable, very nice, helps with spinning, helps with that. Let's put some funky ammo over the chronograph and see what we can expect in that regard. While the speed loader does make it much easier to load such ammo, you can load it by hand just as easy. So these are Pro Darts. These are the ones that are available at Walmart for, I can't remember, it's 100 for $10. So it makes them 10 cents a piece, right guys? So let's put a few of those over. Okay, so I missed the chronograph on that last shot. I hit these ones. I think that one was an outlier. It looks like the Adventure 4 darts are hot. I don't know why they're shooting that much hotter. It might just be a barrel fit thing. It might be that this didn't need tightening rings. I only have 2 more Adventure Force darts, but I got to put them down range and see if we can't break 100 flat. Easy. 100-foot shots, easy. We're never going to find those darts again because they are black darts in the woods. However, that was spicy. And then just for fun, I brought out these full lengths and these worker darts. Let's put the worker Gen 3s over. I have 3 of them. Just kind of get a ballpark for what we can expect. It's a 150 FPS pistol the size of my hand. Unreal. All right, so worker Gen 3s, 109, 117, 110. Well, I mean, cheap darts be like it is, but it do. Those would certainly get you at solid end war performance. You could use those all day long. Now, while you can't chamber these in the magazine, you can very easily just load a full-length dart in through the muzzle. Since it's a breech system and a sealed system, these are full-length bamboo darts. That's 110, 96, 101. So even with suboptimal ammo, it's beating the pants off of any competition product, and it should. All right, so that's it, guys. I mean, it's a compact powerhouse delivering exceptional performance. It hits way harder than I thought it would. It's just a really compact pistol, which gives us a lot of different opportunities for accessories, for holsters, for compactness, for war practicality. It's an actual secondary size, which means that you could theoretically carry this in a competitive event as your +6 darts or +5 darts or whatever your team allotment leaves. I mean, I really, really dig it. And at $80, I want to be somewhat sensitive to kind of the pricing of this blaster. I feel like there really isn't going to be a lot of middle ground because I know enough about the kind of people who are flinging foam at this level and they're purchasing powers relatively, both from someone who provides a lot of aftermarket accessories at the highest and a very entry-level quality point, Arcane, and then our regular offerings, that I feel like this one's very seldom going to be in the middle. It's either very expensive because it's an $80 foam dart blaster, and that's not cheap. There are very few blasters that reach that price point, and when they do, they're usually flagships. And I think that you have to think of the Pro line almost in that realm, between the quality, the attention to detail, the metal weights, and the overall comfort and ergonomic of it. Like, sometimes making something smaller is a feature. I know that normally we're used to paying hundreds of dollars for like big, chunky, lots of dead space, Mastodon, Perseus, Terra Scout, etc., like crazy huge blasters. But I think that like sleek performance-based blasters is where the hobby has always been, and I don't mind paying extra for it. That said, those are the 2 camps that I think that people fall into. This is either a very expensive purchase and it's going to represent the majority of your holiday, you know, foam flinging budget, or it's a no-brainer. I can tell you that I've been on both ends of that spectrum. Back in the HVZ golden age, this would have been a major, major purchase for me. I think I still would have picked one up just because Come on, it's a pistol chock full of features that you can fit in your pocket. These days, now that I'm as invested in the hobby as I am and as passionate as I am about the performance aspects of the hobby and the future of competitive foam flinging play, I'm going to pick up 2. I'm probably going to pick up 2 in addition to this one. I'm going to spend the next few days kind of dissecting this one, finding out what makes it tick, really delving into the niche nuance of it, because I want to make sure that, you know, we can get the most out of it that we possibly can and make some really cool stuff for it. And then I want 2 stock for some sort of cool Boondock Saints dual rig. I think that that would be really, really neat as well. I'm thrilled that it's going to have reliable distribution from an online sales force like Target.com. I think that one of the coolest things about the Adventure Force Pro line is that they're distributed through Walmart, which is a great distribution network and ensures that eventually, while not immediately, eventually everybody who wants to get one of them can get one of them. I think that the Mark II being through Target is going to be just as good. To my knowledge, everyone who's ordered a Mark 1.1 has gotten them. I know that it was touch and go in the beginning, right around, you know, Toy Fair, and with the beginning of the pandemic, they would sell out really, really quick, but now the stock seems super duper stable and everybody can get one. So thrilled that they're on Target.com. I respect that $80 is a lot for a pistol, but I also think that $80 is not a lot for a performance primary class blaster. And so depending upon where you value the Mark II, it's either, you know, an incredibly cheap caliber or a very expensive night finder. And I think that it's up to you to decide which arena you fall in, but nonetheless, I think that these are going to do very, very well. I'm excited to dissect this one. Please throw me a like on this video. Leave me a kind comment. We had to drive all the way to Tennessee, kick down some doors to get our hands on this review sample for you, and I'm really hoping that we get the chance to cut it up for you, so leave me a like. We'll try and squeeze out a mod guide here in the not too distant future, but just... It's hard to believe that this is where the hobby's at right now. I think that, like, was it a year ago? Pat, was it 18 months ago? And we're like, oh my goodness, they're making blasters for us. And now they're like really making blasters for us. No hype, no nonsense, no commercials, no lies. Like, it's just it's a foam flinging. I'm stoked. I hope you guys are stoked too. I expect these will be under a lot of trees in the next coming month or so. And I hope that you guys enjoy it as much as I do. As always, much love. Blast on. Drac out.